Felicia, you told me about something that happened. What happened?
Well, I mean, everything is happening all at once, but let's get into some local news. So local for me, not so local for you. But we're recording this the day after a CEO and his head of HR got caught at, of all places, a Coldplay concert
Classic.
there. And so yeah, basically Chris Martin was doing the concert, and then the video panned to these people. They were like hugging each other. And when the video put them up on the screen, they both freaked the F out. And literally, like the dude literally dropped down and like hit the floor. And the woman like turned away with like the turn of shame and was like hiding her face. It was so awkward. So Chris Martin
Wait, and then there was another woman next
yeah,
to
it was
her.
another woman. So they were like, I think they were in some kind of like a like private box or something. So
Sure.
fancy. And then there's another woman standing right next to this couple, and she's sort of like standing with her, like a hand to her head, sort of like that horrible, like laughing because it's so horrible and you don't know what else to do, but you're not actually the person who was involved, but you're right literally next to them. And she's like, and
Well,
so
can I interrupt very quickly because so I saw that video. You started telling me the story, and I didn't know what the context was because I just remembered I saw it on Reddit. It was it was the subreddit of like I died or something. Like
that's so
it
wild.
perfect.
Well, yeah, I don't even know where I saw it. Maybe I saw it on Reddit too. I have no idea. But it has the reason I brought it up to you before we started recording is because it's taken over personal and professional feeds for me today. And I was telling you that I was on LinkedIn earlier and it is just the topic of conversation. I think partially because a lot of my network is Boston based, and this company, Astronomer, is a Boston based company. And so I think that a lot of the HR folks that we know probably know of, or it's a small community, so people were dissecting this up the wazoo, and then all the consultants are getting their 2 cents in, and we are, yes, it's all over.
So I have to ask you, Felicia, like, why are we talking about this? Why is this important right now?
We love some good gossip. I'm just kidding.
And
Yes, and so what I was saying is, and this is why it's important, is because so obviously, like, I'm not gonna comment right now on the merits or ethics or whatever of the affair and that happening, but the issues that come up, there's a couple. So first of all, as you know, there are a lot of industries, including this company's industry, which are super male dominated. And a lot of these companies, especially these like, like I don't even know what Astronomer does. I think it's data related in some way. Maybe there's AI,
sure.
a little sprinkle of AI in there, who knows? But it's definitely like, you can probably picture how this company culture looks like. Anyway, when you look at the leadership team on their website, it's literally all dudes, except for one woman who is this head of HR. I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but what I saw was that what I read was that she's relatively new to the position. So she's only been in the job for, I think, about 9 months. So again, only woman, new, having an affair with the CEO.
I'm making the Britney Spears face right now, awkward face.
And then to make matters worse, the awkward woman who was like right next to them apparently is a newly promoted VP of HR who's also apparently this woman's bestie. So like it's just bad news all around. And what I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more with you about was the fact that, again, beyond the like drama of it all, and again, like how like you can never live that down, being called out by Coldplay, like whatever.
Amazing.
Imagine, first of all, I was like, imagine the Slack today at that company. Like, if they had Giphies enabled, like the amount of Coldplay Giphies that are out there, the lyrics, the songs, whatever, it's gonna be wild. But I'm sure they've shut it down at this point.
Hashtag fix you.
Imagine being a younger woman or a newer woman in this company, and like, let's say you're getting sexually harassed by some frat bros who work there. And you're like, who am I going to go to? The head of HR who's literally having an affair? Because I'm sure that this was probably, if not common knowledge, then at least people probably guessed at something going on because people get it. Like, I'm sure you and I can both think of a million instances in our own personal and professional lives where you like get a vibe, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like maybe nothing's actually happening, but like maybe they're thinking about it. Like you get to like it's just part of working at an organization. And especially if I'm imagining these folks probably work primarily in person. I don't
Well,
know.
they clearly weren't discreet. So
Great. I know. And I'm just like, I mean, again, I've never had an affair, but if I were to, which I would never do, but if I were to, like that would be on lockdown. Like I would not be at
yeah,
concerts.
I know, wild.
But like just imagine like this. So again, bringing it back into like a culture discussion, that culture is A, like not cool, B, not safe, and C, toxic. And so just
Why is it toxic?
it's just like we talk a lot about power and power dynamics. And, like, okay, these two people, they seem to be of an age, they're adults, whatever. But that's not the point. The point is that when you work at an organization, especially in a senior role, in the C-suite role, in a leadership role, you cannot just turn your title on and off. You can't just say, oh, I'm not like a head of HR now, because that's who you are and that's going to infuse everything you do. And so even if she was an amazing head of HR, which again, I have no idea, she probably could be, who knows, but if she's the best head of HR you've ever had, it's tainted by this egregious like violation of boundaries at a workplace environment. And, like I'm sure this happens all the time. This is not the first time this kind of thing has happened at a company, but like it's just it goes to show how we, especially for folks who are in leadership positions, like you have to be aware of this. Not even talking about the damage this is having on the families, and I think they're both married, they both maybe both have kids. Like
Mm.
that aside, like it's damaging to your employees, it's damaging to your professional way that your company is portrayed. Like this company is literally a joke now, right? So like I went on LinkedIn, I looked at his profile, I looked at the company's profile, and I'm like, how can they do business
Well,
on
and
a
out
daily basis in the same way? They can't. They have to be
well,
impacted by this.
well, also, and because they are at such a senior level, obviously the top level, it sets a precedent, and which can be risky, right? I mean, just from like, let's take the even the culture piece out of it. Like, it's such basic, like
Like sexual
legal, like
harassment and legal issues.
101,
Yeah.
101, like risk, right? So now you're encouraging potentially employees to do this, right? Like, oh, this is a place where like managers and ICs can get together, and that's totally fine. And like,
And maybe you get promoted, and then
yeah,
whether it's true or not, then there's a culture of like, oh, she slept her way to the top,
all
right?
the things.
And actually, again, who knows when this affair happened? It's so damaging on so many levels.
It's so
Just so
basic. I'm like,
gross. It's so
it's also
basic.
it's so like, it's so regressive. Like, it's so like, I feel like 2025 is the year where it's like, are we back in the 50s right now? Like,
Well, make America great again.
ugh, there we go. We did it. Good job. Well, now I got
Sorry.
the name of this one. Uh,
Oh my God. But yeah, and like, I mean, I went to the CEO's LinkedIn profile, so I did see on LinkedIn, people were like, his profile is still open and like the comments are hilarious and blah, 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 blah. And then someone else was like, he must not be awake yet. So
mm,
when I went, it was a little bit more lockdown, but I have like at least one person in common with this guy. And like, again, it's, especially
it's a small
Boston,
town, small
small town.
town.
I think this guy lives in New York. So, again, whatever, like you're based in Boston, it is a small city. People know, like imagine you have
But
nothing to do with any of this, but you just got a nice cushy job at this cool company. Now people are like, oh, where do you work? Oh, it's just like
But
it's
you know what though? Wait, and here's the reality. Here is the fundamental truth of it all is this has gotten some news, like it's gotten some play, get it, Coldplay. Um, and yeah, thank you. And the reality, it'll be really interesting to see how this whole thing ends up going if we even find out, because my assumption is this guy, he's totally gonna be fine. Like 100%. The
maybe he'll be
CEO.
divorced at this point, but
Maybe he'll be divorced, maybe not. Maybe he'll get fired, but if he does, he's got a golden parachute because all CEOs, when they negotiate their entrance, they already negotiate their
their
exit package,
exit,
which
absolutely.
pro tip, like, can we all do that, please? Um,
What if you're self-employed like you and I
I
are?
know. Neg negotiate our own
What's our
exit.
golden parachute?
I
So
know.
for another time. Anyway.
Yes. But he will be fine. I don't know that will be the case for the woman. I
Yeah.
don't know that will be the case for other people within the company, but it will be really interesting to see how it all shakes out because this is a very, very well funded company. They're very well VC backed. I think their last raise looks like was from Bain.
Mm.
So they're doing fine. So it'll be just really interesting to see like, okay, what's the repercussions? Where's the
Yeah.
accountability?
And like to that point, because they're VC backed, I am actually also curious, like if there will be any repercussions or what that response will look like from their investors. Because on the one hand, bro culture, like we've said,
That's fine.
probably happens all the time. But on the other hand, like this is not the way you want to be in the news. So like
I
where
don't know
do you
though.
think
I
that comes
don't
out?
know though,
I don't know.
Felicia, because again, we are in 2025. We
Yeah.
have leaders of the free world-ish, free-ish, who are serial rapists. Like it's just, like these are people who are then nobody cares, and it's the tech oligarchy is right there. In lockstep with this administration. So
Mhm.
like that's why I'm really curious to see. I would guarantee you that there won't be any real repercussions. He's going to be just fine. So that is my 2 cents on the matter.
Well, we'll definitely have to do like a follow-up if there are
Mhm.
any repercussions to see because I am like you, I'm very curious. But yeah, it's just again like it's something that literally just happened.
Yeah.
Will probably be out of the news by later today,
I mean,
maybe tomorrow, but
facts,
we shall see.
facts. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
You're welcome anytime.
Okay.